we welcome you live to Dennis O. Martin Memorial Field here at Bloomington High School North, Bloomington, Indiana, where tonight the Bloomington North Cougars host the Roncalli Rebels from Indianapolis. Glad you could join us for North Cougar football on Smithville Sports. Alongside Quinn Saturday, I am Nick Jenkinson. And Quinn, Bloomington North comes in 5-1, their best start since 2003, and they're ranked 6th in Class 5A, which is the highest in school history.
Yeah, you definitely knew that right from the beginning that this was going to be a very special year. First time in nearly a decade that they're able to beat their rivals to the south, and outside of one road loss to Terre Haute South, I believe, they have been able to roll here. And they're facing a really good school who had a little bit of a rough patch in the Roncalli Rebels. It's going to be a very interesting test. In years past, this would have been a game where North fans would probably begrudge having to play because they'll just get steamrolled and that kind of stuff. But right now, the stars have kind of aligned right now, where we're in for quite a treat between two evenly matched teams.
Last week it was 55-27 North over New Albany. A running clock. It's the second time that North has had a running clock this year. They also had it against Bedford North Lawrence. On the flip side, Roncalli has also had the running clock 2 times. They lost to Indianapolis Chittard 53-7 on September the 6th. And they also lost to Brebeuf Jesuit last week at home 42-14. You know, we talked about Roncalli's got a tradition, 19 sectional titles, 15 regionals, 12 semi-states, 9 state titles. But, Quinn, they have struggled this season, 1-5 and then 3-7 last year. The only other time in recent memory that they have struggled like this, 2007 they went 3-7, and 2008 5-5.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a tough learning experience for this team, who, when you look at their offense, they only have 2 seniors among their big play contributors, both of them receivers. Their quarterback, Aiden Leffler, is a sophomore. Their running backs, Michael Gallagher and Baron Hubler, are a sophomore and a junior respectively, and their leading receiver, Kyle Lockhart, is a sophomore. So this is definitely a growing pains season for Roncalli. On the flip side, you're getting to see a team who just made it past a growing pains season and is now starting to see the fruits of their labor, with still a fairly young team, but one that has the senior leadership in a Xavier Trueblood and a Cade Loffman, and also seniors who have played since their freshman year in Aaron Steinfeld.
But you got a sophomore quarterback in Reese Lozano, who's already over 1,000 yards for the second season in a row, and as you mentioned to me off the air, is probably going to shatter both the single season and career passing records here at Bloomington North.
Yeah, it's pretty much a done deal at this point. He's going to be able to put his stamp here in the Bloomington North record books, but right now he's focused on this season. Right now, 11 touchdowns to 3 interceptions, as you mentioned, over 1,000 passing yards. Very interesting to note is that this is a team that last season against Roncalli was basically kind of neglected the passing game altogether. So Roncalli's going to be facing a much different team, a team that's going to air it out on them.
As you see the Bloomington North Cougars getting ready to come out on the field, as you mentioned, Clint, these 2 teams played last year. Their only meeting in history, September 28, 2018, Roncalli won that game 31-14 in Indianapolis. It was mentioned that Roncalli is making their first trip to Bloomington since October of 1989 when they played Bloomington South. So this is their first trip here on the north side of Bloomington. As you see the Cougars getting ready to come out, you know, one thing that is interesting is that the Cougars are 2-1 in Conference Indiana. They have a chance to possibly share the conference title for the first time in school history.
Yeah, it's going to be these next couple of weeks are going to be really huge, and they're going to need to not overlook this game because they have some huge conference games coming up. So they will need to, while that is true, they will need to focus really hard to make sure they don't overlook this Rebels team. But also in the other conference, in the conference tonight, Bloomington South is playing for basically to claim part of that conference title, as they will be facing Columbus North. Columbus North will then face Bloomington North this next week. So, wouldn't it be something if Columbus North is able to beat Bloomington South and then come into it? Because, to be fair, Columbus North still also has a chance for that. So the entire conference is just a jumbled mess at this point.
Yeah, you got Bloomington South 3-1, Bloomington North 2-1, Terre Haute South 2-1. Southport, remember, Bloomington North plays Southport in the final week of the regular season. And then Southport's 1-1, Columbus North 1-1. Only team out of it right now is Terre Haute North at 0-4.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you have such a cluttered mess in a conference, someone has to be the sacrifice. And ultimately, good team just kind of unfortunately had a bit of a rough conference season.
As you see the rest of the Bloomington North Cougars out on the field getting ready for this game. Again, wins over Greenwood, Bedford North Lawrence, Bloomington South, Terre Haute North, and New Albany only lost 19-13 overtime against Terre Haute South. Then Columbus North at home next week for senior night, and then Southport 2 weeks from tonight on the road. So a lot of football left to play. For Roncalli, it's been tough. Lost to Southport 35-10, Franklin Central 31-19, Indianapolis Chittard 53-7, Columbus North 14-0, beat Cecina 34-7, Brebeuf Jesuit lost 42-14, and then it doesn't get easier for them next week. They go on the road to Columbus, Ohio to play Columbus Northland High School, first out-of-state opponent since October 12, 2007, when they beat Columbus Watterson, Ohio, 14-7. Since 1999, 5-5 against out-of-state teams, 5-4 against Ohio schools, and 0-1 against Michigan, and then they close it out against Guerin Catholic. As you see the Roncalli Rebels going through the sign, it says hunt the Cougars. You know, Quinn, one thing that I've noticed Roncalli through the years, yeah, as I've been fighting a little bit of a fight here, but the Cougar Roncalli has been a running team traditionally, and they have really struggled in the run game. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle tonight, but we're getting ready for the national anthem here with the Cougar Band. The national anthem by the Bloomington North Cougar Band. Great job as always. As we look at the coaches for Roncalli, Scott Marsh, 12-14 in his third year at the school, 39-69, 11 years overall. He was 8-2 in 2017, 3-7 in 2018. His one season at Indianapolis Hall, he was 0-10. 7 years at Perry Meridian from 2009 to 2015, 27 and 45, 3,500 seasons. For Bloomington North, Scott Bless, 63 at 94 and 15 years, 78 and 124 and 20 years, 4 winning seasons, probably heading for a 5th, 2 500 seasons, 2 sectional titles in 2010 and 2013, and then a 2010 regional championship as well. As you see Bloomington North in the maroon with the gold numbers and the gold helmets, kind of the Minnesota, Arizona State look. Roncalli in the white with the red numbers and letters. Gray helmets with the red and blue R on the sides of the helmets for Roncalli. Rebels from the south side of Indianapolis. This should be a very interesting matchup, as we're glad that you could join us here for North Cougar football on Smithville Sports.
Yeah, the biggest thing is going to be Roncalli's offense versus Bloomington North's defense. And the reason why I say that is because as much as we talk about the offense for Bloomington North, this team would not be 5-1 if it wasn't for the drastic defensive improvement this team has made. And Roncalli has big play capability. Kyle Lockhart is averaging nearly 20 yards of reception, and he has 27 of them on the season. They have multiple running backs who average 5 yards a carry, and Aiden Leffler has proven to be a really good quarterback in his sophomore season as well. So if Roncalli is able to get out to a lead early and start running the ball, and Bloomington North has to play catch-up, that would really be a detriment to Bloomington North. So the defense needs to hold on real quickly and not allow Roncalli to get out to a quick lead.
And Bloomington North is going to get the ball to start this game. So the Cougars have outscored their opponents 211 to 107, averaging 35.7 points a game, giving up 17.8. On the flip side, Roncalli has been outscored 84 to 182, giving up an offensive average of 14 points a game and a defensive average of 30.3 points a game. As you see, Owen Hogan, number 1, 5'9", 170, senior, going to kick it off for Roncalli. And we will get it underway. This is going to get taken about the 7-yard line. And it's a nice run up the middle, out toward the 30 for Cody Miklish.
Miklish, a true freshman, has been an excellent change of pace running back in his freshman year. 44 carries, 421 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Not bad for a kid just starting his high school career. He's also proven to be a pretty good returner as well.
And a promising freshman so far. Reese Lozano, the sophomore quarterback, going to have a man in motion. And he is going to look to the near side. It is complete. Out to the 35 is Balin Murphy, number 13. And he is the leading receiver on this team with almost 400 yards receiving and 4 touchdowns.
That reception should have put him over 400 yards on the season. Yeah, he has been huge for this offense as a nice possession receiver and a kind of a security blanket. Him and Lozano have really gotten a connection.
This time it is Xavier Trueblood. He looks like he will be, they're going to give him, they are going to give him the first down. Trueblood, the leading rusher on this team, at over 527 yards and 8 touchdowns. Looks like a no-huddle look for Bloomington North. First set of downs, Lozano in the shotgun, Murphy in motion. It's going to be play action pressure coming, and Lozano going nowhere as he gets taken down for the sack.
That was an excellent job. What really helps is when you rarely see is usually like to see like a blitz on one side to try to pressure it, but when you're able to execute blitz from both sides, there really is nothing a quarterback can do.
Loss of 5, 2nd and 15 at the 34. This is the handoff to Xavier Trueblood. He gets past the original line of scrimmage to the 40-yard line. Luke Marsh with the stop for Roncalli, number 55, 6'2", 228-pound sophomore. Again, it's a young team for Roncalli. A lot of freshmen and sophomores start for the Rebels on both sides of the ball. 3rd and 9 at the 41. Lozano going to drop. Flag flies. He's going to throw it with a bullet pass completed to Aaron Steinfeld.
I think this might be coming back.
And it was thrown at about the 39-yard line. It's going to be holding on Bloomington North, so this will push him back.
And this is definitely not the start that you want if you're Bloomington North and the exact start right now. Granted, you still have one more 3rd down, but right now your playbook shrinks quite a bit here in this kind of situation.
So a 3rd and very long, 3rd and 18. Lozano, it is caught and complete to Murphy for the 1st down past midfield. How about that? Bullet pass.
Yeah, that's what I get for assuming. But again, you see why in a critical situation where the Cougars really cannot afford to have the drive end right there. He goes to Murphy, and he was able to connect.
27-yard pass. Lozano so far 2 of 2 for 35 yards. Trueblood with the carry. Sean Sinovic with the stop for Roncalli, number 42. You'll hear that name a lot for the Rebel defense, the junior. 2nd and 7 at the 39. Lozano. Nice pass to Loffman. And he gets past the 30 down to about the 27-yard line.
Yeah, basically just had a nice little post route, and there was just found a real big hole in the defense for that 1st down.
3rd 1st down so far for the Cougars. Lozano right now 46 yards passing, 3 of 3. Here is the run to Xavier Trueblood. The 5th rushing play for Bloomington North. That will be a 2nd down and 8. Lozano shotgun trips to the top of your screen.
Watch Jack Recker at the bottom of the screen.
He has not been targeted yet. They're going to go to Aaron Steinfeld, quick hitter, and he's just going to lean down and get past the 25 down to about the 23.
In a much more pass-happy football culture, that's basically considered a run at this point. I've seen that play happen so many times on all the levels.
And now it looks like Lozano's going to go. Well, now he's going to go back to the shotgun. He was obstructing the line. He's going to go to Steinfeld. He's just going to throw it up there, and it's like a one. They're going to say incomplete, but he made a one-handed catch.
Yeah, he definitely caught that, but he did not have a foot inbounds. But an amazing job by Steinfeld. A little bit too much air under it by Lozano. But Steinfeld really showing his athletic prowess on that catch.
Yeah, that was an Odell Beckham Jr. type catch. 4th and 5, Bloomington North going for it. First incompletion for Lozano, 4 of 5 right now for 49 yards. He's gonna take off. He's got a lot of room, and he's got the first down and gonna go inside the 10-yard line.
You're so focused on the outside, making sure that you don't get any of the receivers, that you basically leave a hole right there. And Lozano, this isn't something unusual for Lozano. He has 274 rushing yards on the season.
And a 14-yard carry, and this time it's Xavier Trueblood near the goal line. Great shot by our camera crews. He's down about the 2-yard line. No huddle offense for Bloomington North. Going to be Xavier Trueblood, and he is going to find his blockers and get into the end zone for a North touchdown.
And all of that was set up because of Lozano's excellent improvisation on the 4th and 5. That's such a dangerous thing when you have your wideout split out like that. To have a running quarterback, you need to be able to stay. You almost need to not rush and just kind of stay home almost in that kind of situation, because you want to make sure that that he can't just get out of the pocket.
So here is the field goal point after attempt by Kyle Trilling. Trilling high snap, it is up, and it is good, and Bloomington North on the board, 7-0.
And basically the Rebels were given as we see this catch again, whoa, look at this replay right here. He may have actually gotten a foot in bounds.
He did.
Wow.
He did get a foot.
No challenges in high school football, but he did actually get that foot in. That's actually amazing.
Wow, that's a great catch for Aaron Steinfeld. Unfortunately, it does not count.
It does not count, but it also did not hurt the team overall.
But so far, though, you're looking at the Bloomington North stats: 8 carries, 33 yards, 4 first downs, 4 of 5 passing for 49 yards, 82 total yards so far, and just 1 penalty for 10 yards. We are lucky. We have the Roncalli radio crew here next to us, and we have our gentleman with stats, so we're happy to have the stats being provided to us. So Kyle Trilling is going to kick. This will be taken at the 10. It's a nice run for number 7, and he gets out toward the 35. Dominic Brown, number 7, 5'11", 162-pound junior.
And we'll get to see what the Rebels show. But as I was saying, basically the Rebels were shown in that first drive exactly what has changed since the last time they faced them. A huge 3rd and long conversion, and then the nice improvisation on 4th down. Just a picturesque first drive for Bloomington North, and now their defense will need to also respond just as well.
We're going to see Aiden Leffler, number 15, 6'2", 200-pound sophomore quarterback for the Rebels. And Roncalli goes right up the middle, out toward the 40-yard line. That's going to be 35, Barron Hebler, 5'9", 180-pound junior. As we said, leading rusher for the Rebels, and quickly it's a no-huddle offense for Roncalli. Leffler catches it. Blazinski worth the tackle. That's going to be Chris Parrott, number 11.
Chris Parrott, the third leading receiver in terms of second leading receiver actually, 17 carries and 179 yards.
First down for the Rebels so far. As we're approaching 6 minutes to go in quarter number 1, play clock at 14. It's going to be Hebler. He's going to get out past midfield. It's a nice carry for Hebler. Caleb McCoy with the tackle. Roncalli goes right
Even
back.
are able to get a nice little hole because linebackers have consistently have both times fallen for that fake. Leffler already really good with that nice pump fake.
So far, 2 carries for Hebler, 14 yards. 7-yard pickup there. 2nd and 3 at the 48. Leffler over the middle, complete to the 30. Kyle Lockard, as you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Quinn, the leading receiver for the Rebels with that catch.
Yeah, just a nice little seam route. Got in between, able to shake off his man, kind of using the linebacker as a pick, and just getting in. And Knight just thrown in running. Excellent job.
18-yard pickup for Lockard, 2nd first down for the Rebels. At the 30 of Bloomington North. It's going to be a pistol look. Hebler's going to go just past the 30. It'll be a 2nd down. Gain of 3 for Hebler. We have an injured Cougar on the field, and that is 22, Garrett Bruce.
And we do have an injury on the field.
Garrett Bruce, number 22, 5'8", 216-pound senior for the Cougars. So he is going to get checked out as the training staff for the Cougars are on the field. But so far, a 7-0 lead for Bloomington North. Just under 5 minutes to go here in quarter number 1. Again, Roncalli making their first ever trip here to Bloomington North. First time in Bloomington since 1989 when they played Bloomington South.
And a really good first drive so far by the Rebels. Good mix of run and the pass. This is a team that is capable of both. They do prefer to run, but they can do both. And Leffler, we continuously praise Lozano for being a sophomore starting quarterback and doing a good job. Leffler's has done an awesome job himself. Oh, a couple percentage points lower in terms of completion percentage, but otherwise, same has 865 passing yards coming in and 7 touchdowns passing. He's done an excellent job, but the future is very bright for Leffler. Through some growing pains through this season, but this is definitely someone that you're going to be excited for in the years to come.
As you see, Garrett Bruce going to walk off under his own power. So good to see. Rebels will have the ball, 2nd and 7 at the 28. So far, 38 yards of offense for the Rebels on this opening drive. So they got 3 wide receivers.
2nd and 7 after the 3-yard gain by Heath.
It's going to be Leffler.
28 of Bloomington South.
And he's going to give it to Hebler. Going to bounce, get a couple bounces past the 25, and go down.
Able to break a couple of tackles. Hebler, a type of running back who, if you don't get your arms wrapped around him, he will bounce off of any kind of attempt that you take to try to just knock him down. You're going to have to actually grab him and take him down.
3rd and 5 after a 3-yard pickup for Hebler.
Chapter Hebler in the receiving.
Oh, it's going to be Hebler, and he's going to go down and get stuck.
I was mentioning watch out for Hebler as a receiver. He's actually the 2nd leading receiver in terms of receptions on the team. 22 receptions for 114 yards. So with a 4th down looming coming, and I expect that the Rebels will counter Bloomington North and go for it here. You might want to watch out for Hebler.
as they are going to go for it. Leffler. It's going to be 4 wide receivers. Leffler got to go on the run. Pressure. He gets away. Throw it up. Just kind of a loft ball, and it is incomplete. Broken up by the Cougars. Turnover on down.
Man, and you got to give a lot of credit to Leffler for avoiding that one sack and then just throwing it up there. Unfortunately, none of the receivers were able to get that separation that was needed. And the field was a little too small for there to be not enough room for a corner to zoom in on that ball.
And you know, a couple years ago, Quinn, when we've been covering Bloomington North football, we talked about how Bloomington North couldn't stop anybody on 3rd down.
Yeah.
And they just stopped Roncalli on a 4th down.
3:19 to go in the first quarter. Cougars lead
1st and 10 for the Cougars at the 24. As they... Now Aaron Steinfeld has to come to the sidelines. And it was a headband that he had to... He had the headband sticking out of the helmet, so that's what the issue was. Now he's going to have to come off for the play, so they're going to put Lucas Alexander, 46, in.
The start here of the game is amazing. Is his truck break down?
Now we're ready to go.
Lozano,
Can't walk home.
shotgun.
He drops straight back.
He's going to get pressure, and now he's got to go on the run, and he is sacked for the 2nd time.
Back at the 20-yard line.
As it is 51, Jack Wardzilla. And that's the 2nd time Wardzilla has taken Lozano down.
And as I said, that pressure from the outside on both sides.
Lots of 5, 2nd and 15. Xavier Trueblood, he's going to get out to the 25. I guess a pink flag flew first.
It looks like we ran out of yellow flags, so we had to get a pink flag, it looks like.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so...
Our umpire who spots the football has a pink towel to keep the ball dry, but
I've not seen the pink flag fly before. That was interesting.
But it is a holding call against Bloomington North, which will push them back even further.
Rebels are
Except they
going
will decline it. Smart move on that, and brings up a 3rd.
Penalty was declined.
penalty decline. 3rd down and 13.
3rd down and 13.
Brings up what looks like a 3rd down and 12.
So Lozano, 4 receivers.
3rd down and 12. Big play for the Rebel defense.
Murphy
Get him off the field.
in motion. Lozano going to roll.
Wide side.
He's going to just have to step up, and again he is taken down near the 25 by Wardzella.
Yeah, whenever you try to run a bootleg, if there's no, that's the risk of running a bootleg. It can get you a lot of open space to operate, but if the defense is already occupying that area, then you got nowhere to go.
Cougars are going to punt, just a 2-yard gain for Lozano. Punt pressure coming.
High, short kick. Dominic Brown calls for
Dominic Brown's going to fair catch it at the 46. So Roncalli keeps, forces a Bloomington North punt.
what you've seen, what we're not.
And this is a very nice stop for Roncalli to be able to get that, to be able to get the stop. Now you have the offense back on here. It's up for Bloomington North right now. The big thing is to respond with a 3-and-out of your own, to force a 3-and-out of your own right now. But we saw that they had a little bit of trouble getting to stopping Hubler. So we'll see how the line of battle of the line of scrimmage goes.
Leffler going to fire it. It is complete on the screen, and he gets near midfield. That was Lockard with the catch.
Leffler's pass.
And there is a late flag.
And it looks like it's going to be a hold on the offense, which is just going to push them back.
Number 2, Matt Field. There's a flag on the play. Called holding against Roncalli.
Five fouls takes us all the way down to 36.
That will be the first penalty on Roncalli tonight.
First penalty in 2 weeks.
He's waited.
That hold takes it back to the
So
36.
first and 20 now at the 36.
First down and
Can't squander such good field position.
Approaching a minute and a half in quarter number 1. Leffler bobbles the snap. He's got to roll out, gets a block, and now he's going to go down.
Yeah, that's a situation where if you try to get out of that sack, you're just going to make things worse, so you just take it.
Noah Ponce with the sack. Now it's going to be a 2nd and 28 after a 8-yard sack. Under a minute to go here in quarter number 1.
Brings up 2nd down and 28.
Bloomington North defense, as we talked about all season, how improved they've been from a season ago. Leffler complete to the 30, number 11, Chris Parrott with the reception.
Nice little pass to try to get back a little bit of the yardage, but it's still going to be 3rd and 25.
third down and 25.
Gain of 3 on the play.
Gain of 3 for Parrott, 3rd and 25.
Final play.
And I wouldn't be surprised here if this is
I think they might just run out the clock
running
here.
out the clock.
Burglaries, fire, flood, and check on your home with our HD cameras, and also control lights, locks, garage doors, and thermostats from anywhere with the Total Connect app. Now you're in control with Smithville Security. Smart, safe, simple, Smithville. For more information, visit smithvillesecurity.com.
As we welcome you back to Dennis O. Martin Memorial Field as the Bloomington North Cougars lead the Roncalli Rebels 7-0 here as we get ready to start quarter number 2. Glad you could join us for North Cougar football and Smithville Sports alongside Quinn Saturday. I am Nick Jenkinson, and Quinn, for the 6th time this season, North leads after the first quarter, now outscoring their opponents.
As Bloomington North, as I mentioned at the beginning, Bloomington North has been able to get off to these really good starts throughout the season, and they're off to it right now, and they're in a pretty good position with Roncalli now being in 3rd and a country mile. But we just saw on the flip side that Bloomington North was able to complete such a 3rd and long as well. So you can't let up.
Leffler going to fire it. It is complete to Hebler, the first reception for Hebler, but it is he's going to get taken down about the 34-yard line.
Bit of a safe play. I can understand the play call. Basically, the entire drive was just one bad thing after another, so you're just basically trying to get it over with and then try to send them about as far back as possible.
So Roncalli will punt as 4th and 22. And this will go. It's going to be a fair catch about the 33-yard line for Bloomington North.
Fair catch called for made by the Cougars. Number 23,
Colin Weeger with the fair catch.
Yeah, and you definitely want to make sure that you know where you're punting it, because with Colin Weeger, as he's had 2 returns for touchdowns, 1 on a punt and then 1 on a fumble return.
As you look at the Bloomington North student section, a very good crowd on hand tonight. Temperatures were in the upper 60s, low 70s today. We are definitely going to get down to the high 40s tonight, so it's definitely finally feeling like fall football weather after 7 weeks of warm temperatures.
As longtime viewers of our broadcast know, I came from Florida, so basically we're used to seasons, two-thirds of it being in October, November.
Lozano fires a bullet to Warzinski, and it goes out of bounds, incomplete. Or no, that was to Jack Rick.
Number 12, Ryan Henry on the check.
So the fourth time this season that North has shut out their opponent in the first quarter: Greenwood, Bedford North Lawrence, and New Albany, and now Roncalli. 3rd and 4. Roncalli so far for Lozano 4 of 6 passing. Lozano, and again another sack. And this time Owen Volk, number 4, the 3rd sack on Lozano. Volk
That
Jr.
front seven for this Rebels defense has really overwhelmed the Cougar offensive line here to start this game. That is the 3rd sack of the game, and that one, unlike the other ones, which were at least where Lozano at least had a chance to possibly throw it away, there was nothing Lozano could do.
No, Volk was right in his grill as soon as he had the chance. Now they punt it away, and it will go out of bounds near the 20-yard line.
Goes out of bounds at the Rebel.
But that has to be something Roncalli watched on film this week, Quinn. The fact that they can put pressure on Lozano because they've gotten to him 3 times so far.
Well, the thing is that Bloomington North likes to spread it out, so you usually only have your 5 down linemen and then your 1 running back, so you have your 6 blockers. That means you have a 1-man advantage already in your front 7. If you're able to even add to that, basically they're forcing North's hand, saying, you need to bring in some tight ends or something. You can't just keep spreading out like this because we're going to keep coming to you.
So far for Lozano, 4 of 6 for 49 yards. Leffler, though, 4 of 5 for 33.
10-yard penalty.
Both teams have 1 penalty.
They will be taking over now on their 14-yard line.
So the Rebels will now take over at the 14-yard line. Looks like Hebler with the carry. He's going to get just a couple yards. And we've seen this basically every week where we've got that guy that's going to carry the load for the opposite team, and this time it's Baron Hebler for Roncalli.
He has a team-high 109 carries coming into this game. He has been a workhorse for them. And like I said, he's also been a valuable receiving target as well out of the backfield with 22 receptions.
So far, 6 carries for 23 yards for Hebler. And it's Hebler, and this time he breaks through near the 30, gets the first down.
Yeah, now I believe that's a Colin Uyghur tackle away from being a touchdown run, because he was ready to turn on the Jets there.
Gets the first down, 11-yard gain for Hebler. Now up to 34 yards on 7 carries. First 10, it's Hebler again. He gets to the 30.
And off to 35, Baron Hebler.
This is a Roncalli team again that traditionally loves to run the ball. They've always done it in the past. So far,
And which can lead to some nice play action, in which you have good receiving talents in Kyle Lockhart and Chris Parrott.
as a team, 9 carries for 29 yards are the Rebels. 2nd and 7 here.
Sideline violation for Roncalli.
Call a sideline warning on the Rebels. Leffler. It is going to be Hebler, and he's going to get stuffed right at the 30-yard line.
And back again, number 35, Baron Hebler. Brought down
Good pickup. Caleb McCoy with the tackle. Caleb McCoy, one of the standout guys on that North defense.
And a huge third down right now.
3rd and 6 at the 32, approaching 8 minutes to go before half.
Have to think they go to the air here, even if it's on play action.
10 carries for 30 yards. Hebler at 9 carries for 38. They are going to go. Leffler's going to take off. Now he's just got to throw it, and he throws it out of bounds. Incomplete.
That play promptly demonstrated how impressive it is that there are so many quarterbacks, or when a quarterback is able to throw so accurately on the run. Basically, it was forced to even try to throw that away. There was a receiver open, but there wasn't an option to do that because it would have been. He was going the wrong way with body and would have had to basically throw across his body. So, and that's the number one rule: you never do that.
As they are going to have to punt again, the Rebels. There is the kick. Fair catch.
Fair catch call for, once again made by number 23, Colin Weaver.
Colin Weager took a couple steps, even though he called for the sideline, the fair catch.
Bloomington North would like to recognize and thank our IU Health Team doctors, Dr. Michael LaGrange.
So it'll be a 1st and 10 at the 37. Approaching 7.5 minutes to go before halftime. Stay tuned. We'll have a great halftime feature for you.
I think it's playing rush. Come on.
1st and 10. Xavier Trueblood.
Hand off to number 8, Xavier.
He gets a couple on that carry. Jack Wardzala with the tackle.
I'll tell you what, we've had quite a few offensive shootouts so far this season. This one's shaping up to be quite a defensive battle right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Both teams are
Still early, but this is some of the best defense we've seen from both sides.
There's a handoff for Xavier Trueblood.
Then on the tackle, number 99, Luke Schwartz.
It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 4.
2 brings up 3rd down and 4.
So far, Xavier Trueblood, 9 carries, 36 yards, and a touchdown. Play clock at 15. Lozano, pressure, throws it, intercepted.
Picked up by Skylar Phillips down the sideline.
Skylar Phillips with the interception.
31.
Lozano's pass intercepted by number 40.
There's a flag.
There is a flag, but I believe it happened after the interception, so the turnover will stand. But basically on that play, we just mentioned how on the previous ride, Leffler being forced out of the pocket, throws it away. Instead, here, Lozano tries to force it in there. He has shown that he can throw on the run, but forced it a little too much, and right there did not see the linebacker, and it went right into his hands, trying to look for Loftman.
They're going to call a block in the back. That's going to occur after the interception, so it is Roncalli ball. That is the 4th interception thrown by Reese Lozano this season. So as you mentioned, Quinn, a great defensive battle so far for both these teams. Roncalli getting to Lozano with 3 sacks so far and making him throw an interception. And then for Bloomington North, you're just forcing Roncalli to punt most of the night.
6:23 to go here in the half.
1st and 10 at the 42. Hebler with the carry. He's just going to go up the middle, maybe a yard or 2.
Brought down by Cougars number 22.
Looks like it's only going to go for a yard. Yeah, it might be a battle of which offensive line can hold off the defensive front 7 the longest.
Gain of 1 for Hebler. 10 carries now for 39 yards. 2nd and 9 at the 43.
Good handoffs. Stop runs. They want a short.
Man in motion. Gonna throw the quick one. And it's Kyle Lockhart. He turns the corner near midfield.
Panthers pass, complete number 26, Kyle Lockhart.
And that's what Kyle Lockhart does right there. Just all you have to do is just get him the ball in open space, and he will make things work. You've seen that on both of his catches.
Lockhart so far 2 catches for 23 yards, been targeted 3 times. Leffler 5 of 7, 38 yards passing. 3rd and 4 for the Rebels. Leffler, it was incomplete. In and out of the hands of Lockhart. That's Lockhart's 4th target of the night.
Might have been a tip by Isaac Venzel.
Isaac Venzel, the basketball now football player here for the Cougars.
Brings up 4th down 4.
We will see him on the hardwood, as we'll see several Cougars on the hardwood this season. Roncalli going to punt again. It's going to be Leffler with the punt. It's going to get a bounce at the 20, and it's going to go inside the 10. Nice punt for Baron Hebler.
Aiden Leffler's punt down by
Aiden Leffler.
Really appreciate Scott Marsh's approach so far. At the beginning of the game, he went for it on 4th down to try to answer it. Didn't work, but I appreciated that. Here, in a situation, even though you got a turnover, you might want to feel like anxiety to want to try to make something out of it. You play the long game. It's only a 1-score game, and your defense is manhandling the opposing offensive line right now.
You're manhandling the other line so far, as the Cougars are going to have the ball at their own 9-yard line.
And you gotta be careful here not to get a safety. You're in that territory.
Lozano going to go to Steinfeld, jump ball, and happened.
That was a really, really nice breakup by Ryan Papandrea, who an amazing job, able just to kind of stay in there. Usually you kind of expect in a one-on-one situation, the cornerback's kind of forced into like having to do a pass interference, but that was a nice clean defend.
Here is Xavier Trueblood. He's trying to get to the outside. There is a flag, and this will come back. It's going to be holding on North. But Steinfeld on that play before, Quinn, he's had 3 targets. He's only caught it once for 3 yards.
Well, technically he caught it twice, but the human eye is not perfect.
Yeah, no instant replay in high school football. And no challenges either. But a great shot by our crew to get that catch, though.
Penalty moves the Cougars back to their own 7-yard line.
So it will be a penalty on the Cougars. Second and 12. It's going to be Trueblood, and he's just going to go right up the middle.
And he tripped up a little bit. He could have been able to blow right through a pretty big hole, but he kind of tripped up a little bit.
Gain
of 2, 3rd and 10. Trueblood 10 carries, 38 yards so far.
And you got to be careful with this 3rd down play call.
Dangerous situation at the 9 for Bloomington North. Play clock at 15.
Almost might want to just run the ball to try to just give yourself a little bit more breathing room for a punt.
Lozano, he's going to drop back. And that was just incomplete.
And there's a late flag at the end. Maybe some just jousting and extracurricular activities after the play.
Flag flew in very late. Ryan Henry was tangled up the ball after the pass hit the field.
The officials
Oh, actually, that's an interesting.
are going to get
Illegal man downfield.
Roncalli declines it, so they're going to punt it away.
Back to punt, number 88, Kyle Trilling.
Kyle Trilling going to punt it away. Looks like Dominic Brown's back at the 40-yard line. Trilling gets a good kick away. It's going to bounce to the 50. Brown's going to pick it up at the 49. He's going to go to the sidelines. Gets down near the 35.
Very risky play by the returner to pick that up, especially with a man on you, but able to make a pretty sizable gain out of it.
It's going to be there's a flag. Looks like a flag on the play. And it is on Roncalli, a hold on the Rebels. So you got 4:03 to go here before halftime.
And also important to note right now, why this possession might be even bigger is that Roncalli will get the ball to start the second half as well.
Yeah, always critical for the
So if they're able to get a score right here, any kind of score, they'll have momentum on their side.
This is going to be Hebler. He just goes up the middle. And he gets down near the 20. What a run for Baron Hebler, moving the sticks. Sam Wierzinski with the tackle on Roncalli at the 21.
We've seen bursts of that where as soon as he sees daylight, he turns on another gear.
26-yard pickup for Hebler. They're going to go right back to him, up the middle, inside the red zone.
35, he was back there, is down by Cougars number 30, Caleb McCoy.
And so Caleb McCoy with the tackle. Gain of 1. Hebler 12 carries, 65 yards so far. It's carried.
Personnel change here.
Yeah, several.
With the change of pace back, Michael Gallagher checking in here, who has been dangerous in his own right.
Play clock down to 7. Now it looks like they're going to call a timeout.
Yeah, it took a little too much time.
Oh, no, they're going to get Bloomington North called the timeout. So interesting timeout call there for Bloomington North.
And it looks like Coach Bliss was not confident after that formation shift that his defense would be able to stop whatever Roncalli was cooking up.
As you see again, a great crowd on hand tonight here at Bloomington North. Just 3 more weeks of the regular season, Quinn. It's hard to believe the high school season, 9 weeks regular season total. And the state tournament draw is Sunday, October 15th at 5 o'clock, streamed at ISJATV.org and on the ISJA Champions Radio Network. Sectionals will start October the 25th, but Class 5A, which was Bloomington North and Bloomington South, they will actually not play that week because Class 5A is just 34 teams, so Bloomington North and South will have that week off on the 25th and play November 1st. Here's Leffler, gonna fire it over the middle and just in and out of the hands of Locker.
He had him wide open too, but he just threw that bullet just a little too hard on that, and also a little too out in front of him. Just a little bit. He would have gone down just take that down just an inch or two southeast of where that was. That would have been a touchdown right there.
5th target for Locker, 2 catches, 23 yards. 3rd and 9 for Roncalli. Leffler going again.
And excellent breakup by Rosinski, the senior. Again, just excellent defensive play by both of these teams. This is on both sides. We've seen cornerbacks really do an excellent job of just denying receivers, even when receivers get in that advantageous one-on-one position.
That was Tommy Mullen, his first target, number 5. They're going to go for the field goal here. Owen Herndon's going to try the field goal. It is up, and it is no good for Owen Herndon. So the Rebels come up scoreless.
Yeah, and you got to give a lot of credits to the Bloomington North defense, especially the secondary on that drive. 2 big passes, and neither of them connect.
So the Cougars get it 1st and 10 at the 21.
They do have 2 timeouts, so plenty of time to get down the field.
Roncalli has all 3 remaining. Lozano gonna find Steinfeld just over his outstretched.
Yeah, he had him. That was a beautifully run route, but just a little too far out in front of him. And you got to wonder if maybe Lozano is a little skittish because of having been sacked early on in this game. And maybe it's causing his timing to go off just a little bit faster than he wants.
Lozano 4 and 10 so far for 49 yards. Xavier Trueblood with the carry. Or is that? No, that's Cody Miklish. So Miklish with the carry.
44 carries, 414 yards, and 4 touchdowns so far. He picked up 5 there, 3rd down.
His first carry of the night.
The Rebels still have 3 timeouts.
3rd and 5 at the 26.
3rd down and 5 at the 26 of Bloomington North. Murphy in motion, left to right. Lozano takes the
Lozano
drops.
gonna take off,
Lozano makes a man miss.
and he's gonna get knocked down at the 25.
And Scott Marshall immediately calls timeout. David Clayton.
Lozano is slow to get up.
Huge props to David Clayton of the Rebels. That was an amazing job. Basically, the same thing that happened on that 4th down play that they did convert, but that time able to grab him by the ankles and just stop him, and an immediate timeout by Roncalli. And they may have a chance, as we get a chance right here, of David Clayton able just to grab onto that leg.
Then a hit in the back of Lozano's back too. He was
Yeah, bit of a late hit, but refs letting that one slide because his momentum was kind of going towards him, and also there was no guarantee that that was a tackle at that moment as well.
Yeah, slow to get up for Lozano, but again, he's 6 carries so far, but no yards for Lozano.
Well, we'll get it figured out.
They will punt it away. Trilling.
Attaboy. It's a short kick. Bounce. Takes the hop.
Dominic Brown's going to take it at the 40. He makes a man miss, gets past midfield.
The back of his blockers before he's gang tackled.
And still going to stay on his feet now. Another flag flies near the sideline.
He kind of got lost in the shuffle there and somehow appeared out an extra 5 yards, and he might be going more as well after that flag.
There was a flag over there on the Roncalli sideline.
All sorts of flags flew in as they had mentioned right at the end.
What was the damn whistle?
You're going to let 8 people hold him up. Made a man miss.
Right.
There's also a flag back in
Kill the play.
field where he was tackled.
Anywhere else they blow the whistle. Oh, wait a minute.
And
Foul on the Cougars.
yep, and they're going to tack on some more yardage to that.
So a personal foul on Bloomington North. Now Scott Bless is wanting an explanation as you see the North student section. Good crowd on hand tonight. Great weather today in South Central Indiana. Temperatures upper 60s, low 70s.
Yeah, there you go. Everybody knows.
Leffler gonna fire it complete, and then he is. That was Lockhart, and it just popped right out of his hands as he got hit.
Yeah, that was just excellent job of a bang-bang play where just unable to hold on to it because he got tackled right as soon as he caught it.
Second and 10 at the 29. Still 2 timeouts left for Roncalli. Leffler. It is caught, same play. That is Kyle Walker.
And if he would have let that play develop a little bit more, he had Parrott who looked like he was going to go straight to the end zone on a 9 route.
4 yards.
It goes underneath.
Walker, 3 catches, 27 yards, 7 targets. 3rd and 6. Leffler gonna have to run. And he's got to throw it before he goes out of bounds, and it's incomplete.
And yeah, I think this can be very interesting to see if they're going to go for it this time or if they will go for the field goal again. I have a feeling they're going to go for it this time.
They're going to keep the offense on the field. We are at 1 minute and 2 to go here. 4th and 6 at the 25. Leffler got a man open. It's caught. And it is a touchdown for Roncalli. That is Ryan Henry, number 12, with the touchdown reception.
Yeah, that's and only his 7th catch of the season, but that's his 2nd touchdown. Has a nose for the end zone, and an awesome play. Just kind of looked like a miscommunication in coverage, and just able to get wide open, and then racing to the end zone.
25-yard touchdown pass from Leffler to Henry. And the kick is good. So it is now 7-7.
And this is an interesting scenario because usually in a situation like this, we have where you're going to have like 45 seconds left in the half in a tie game. You don't want to do, most times you don't want to do anything that would kind of jeopardize your team, but right now with Roncalli getting the ball in the second half, I say go full throttle and use those 2 timeouts and try to get down the field as far down the field as possible in this time. If you can try to reclaim this lead before half, I do it.
So the tied at 7. Ryan Henry's first target, and this time it goes for 25 yards. So here goes Herndon. He will kick this away. 53 seconds. Herndon's kick goes. It's going to be taken at the 10. This is Miklish. Gets to the 20, to the 30, to the 40. Out of bounds near midfield, but
it's going to come way back because Loftman got called for a block in the back.
Pushed out by number 8, Sammy Ball.
So it is against Bloomington North.
And that's a really big blow because that would have been excellent field position for Bloomington North.
So that's going to put the Cougars back at the 15-yard line. Both teams 2 timeouts with 44 seconds to go.
Tied at 7. The 25-yard catch and throw from mid left with Ryan Henry on 4th and 4. In the 6th round. See if Coach North
Lozano, he's going to have to run, and he's going to get taken down again.
Pressure by number 55, Marsh.
Yeah, that was the one thing you didn't want to happen.
Loss of 1 on the play for Boogie.
Now you basically,
Fourth sack tonight for Lozano. Second and 11. It's going to go Xavier Trueblood. He just goes up the middle.
yeah, and Roncalli will not call a timeout to try to force the
This is
issue.
going to run out the clock, and we're going to go to halftime tied at 7. So a good first half as we look at the highlights. And here's Lozano, and here's the Steinfeld one-handed grab, but they say he was out of bounds, even though the video says he was in. Xavier Trueblood with the rushing touchdown from 2 yards out gets North on the board. And then the Roncalli defense coming with it all night long. 4 sacks so far. As here comes Lozano, and it's intercepted by the Rebels. So the Roncalli defense, 4 sacks and an interception. Then you see Baron Hebler running all over the North defense. And then a nice catch for Ryan Henry, his first catch of the night, and it's a touchdown from 5 yards out. As it is Roncalli 7, Bloomington North 7, here on Smithville Sports.
And then Europeans started migrating to Indiana, starting with
French traders.
but
I didn't expect to be a teacher. I didn't grow up thinking I was going to be a teacher. I had paleontologist and basketball player and all sorts of unrealistic expectations on my mind. I'm Matt Wooden. I'm a 4th grade teacher here at Binford Elementary School. I like to go to coffee shops and do my reading and writing there, and I thought I'll make a coffee shop themed classroom. I brought the idea of Beanville here because the 4th grade curriculum is all about the state of Indiana and your local history, your state history. And I wanted to create a small town like other small towns that I know and love. Beanville is a little bit of a love letter to a lot of small Indiana towns, to places like Unionville, to places like Vernon, to places like Paoli, to Orleans, to all these small tucked away towns. I wanted to create an environment that was inspired by all of these wonderful small towns down here in the hills and hollers of southern Indiana. When you go to a small town in Indiana, they all seem like they're a little bit in the past. You know, part of it is because so many small towns in Indiana, they're towns that are declining. You know, business has left, or a factory has left, or jobs have left, and they're getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So when I think about Beanville, I think it's a present-day town that's really concerned with its history.
this object is, we would call this a cube. Quilt. It's a quilt, which is a specific type of folk art that's made by common people, a lot of times without any real training, that tells the story of someone.
I've been an incurable collector since I was very young. It started with rocks and fossils and those kinds of things, and it's just, I don't think I can shake it. It's just part of my identity. I see the stories and things, and I want to be surrounded with those things that have stories. So I try to bring in artifacts on a regular basis, and you look around the room and you see it, right? I mean, even today, something new arrived in the mail. I'm always looking for things that are interesting. And that quilt, that was at an antique store in Iowa. My family was coming back from a road trip out west, and we stopped at an antique store in Iowa, and it caught my eye because at first I saw there was a Purdue pennant as part of it, and then I saw there was an Indiana pennant as part of it, and then I saw there was a pennant from the 1913 Indy 500, which is the third race. You know, it's like very early in Indy 500 history, and I realized that's got to be an Indiana piece. And so I asked the folks at the antique store, and they said, "Yep, we got that in Indiana." And I said, "Well, I've got to take it back to Indiana. It belongs there." And I've brought it in for the last couple classes because it's a story. You look at that quilt, and even though I haven't been able to determine exactly who made it or for whom it was made, you look at it and you can really start to piece together that person's life.
What do you think you can tell about what was important to this World War I soldier based on the quilt that someone made in their honor? Where are you going to start it?
Maybe because of this flag, maybe they have been a soldier for a long time.
Okay, all right. So the United States flags are in all 4 of the corners of the quilt.
Believe it or not, I really try to be kind of picky about the things I bring into the classroom. You wouldn't know it from looking around. But I try to choose objects where kids can immediately start to picture themselves in the story of that artifact, in the story of the person to whom it belonged or who used it. And so that quill, I just thought that was just a masterpiece. It was something that it just elicits stories and ideas so easily.
My name is Chris Wilkins. I am the principal at Binford Elementary School. Mr. Wooden has created a classroom that really focuses on the students' social and emotional learning and well-being. He has created a community within inside the classroom. And when I first got to school and I saw Matt's classroom, I was just amazed. I'm like, there's a lot of stuff in here, but he makes it work. It looks like in your own little city. Matt has so many intricate sayings that only his students know that he does to get them from one task to the next, and they just keep moving. And the classroom management is phenomenal because of it. And you can really tell that the kids love being in there. It's a special place.
I feel like it's different because a lot of other classes, they kind of have one big theme and that's all throughout the whole classroom. But this classroom has like the Green Bean Cafe that we're in right now, and then the main part of the classroom and the general store. It's all different parts.
Post office, like where we deliver mail to everyone else. We have a general store over there that has like pencils and things we can get. We also have a library which has all our books. We also have an art gallery or a museum where people can put things that they made for Mr. Wooden. And we also have this Green Bean Cafe, which is like a little cafe that we work in.
We have some routines and rituals here in Beanville that are unique, and they all start at the very beginning of the school year. The first week of the school year, there are a couple things that I think are really important. I think in that first week of the school year, kids need to know that I like them. They need to have that level of trust with me early on, and they need to know that they're going to enjoy their time together. And I think everything else you can do later. But I think just generating that excitement at the start of the year is really important. And part of generating that excitement, it's kind of like living in a small town. You have to figure out what's unique about you, what draws people to your particular town. We spend the first week of school learning songs, learning calls and responses, learning about our care cups, how those work, learning about our responsibilities for each other's feelings. And I don't usually pass out a single textbook that first week of school, but I think kids have to hit that first weekend and be ready to come back for that first Monday of the school year, knowing that they are excited to be here, and then I'm excited that they're here. So all of those little things, right? All of those little back home again, and they say, or hear ye, and they say, all eyes on the king, or whatever it is, right? All of those little things are just, we had to find some things that are just us, because those are the things that kids get excited about. They get excited about those things that are just them.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
There's no escaping the hand. So when students arrive in the morning, I'm there in the hallway to greet them. We start with some kind of question or thought before they come in. Each day has a different set of tasks when they come in. When they come in after they've done that morning activity, usually we get together for a community circle and we might play some quick game together, or we might read a story together. I usually will have some sort of thought of the day up on the screen from some Hoosier. And so we try to have some sort of centralizing thought in the morning, whether it comes from a game we play or a book we read or a thought on the screen, just something to drive our day. Usually during that community circle time, we go through our agenda for the day. There's a lot of safety in that for kids to know what's going to happen and in what order, and so the agenda's up there on the board every day for kids to check and see. Usually there's some sort of word of the day up there by our hashtag symbol. Today is sui generis. It's a Latin phrase that means of its own kind, because this seemed like a sui generis kind of day, right? You know, this was a day of its own kind to have people come in and hear our stories and see what we do here. And so that word can be something that focuses our thoughts for the day too. In the morning, usually we're doing reading and writing activities, and whenever it's a natural fit, I like to try to connect those to our 4th grade curriculum.
Today we add a new chapter to our Indiana story. Take your right hand if you're right, left if you're left, put it over your eyes, and say, "Dark times in Indiana."
Dark times in Indiana.
We're going into a more dark period in Indiana history right now, where we'll talk about the forced evacuation of the Potawatomi. We'll talk about the Ku Klux Klan. We'll talk about sometimes about a century in Indiana history where there are a lot of episodes that are hard to think about and that we look back at and wish our story were different. But that's an important lesson too, is that our story doesn't always go the way that we want to go. We have regrets, and we can look back at those and learn from them. A lot of times when we get to the end of the day, we get together and we read a story again, or we revisit our thought from the morning and wrap up our day together. Bookending our days, we have our good morning cheer. And we have our good evening cheer. Those cheers are just, it's our welcome and it's our goodbye. When I ask the students on Friday, what are some things that you want other people to know about Beanville? The first thing they say are those cheers. If I were giving advice to a new teacher, what needs to be a part of your day, I think I would say have a good morning cheer to start the day and have a good evening cheer to end the day. There's something that's so community based about that. You know, there's something that just galvanizes the group when there is something that they all do together and no one else in the world does. It's just our cheer.
You ready? Those words out, and when we start this, we say G-O-O-P-M-O-R-N-I-N-G. Good morning. Hey, hey, good morning. Let's start the day.
Well, let's start the day down here in our club.
So starting from my very first day as a teacher, I gave each student a cup and a pot of coffee beans. And the idea was just to give them a way to visually express how they were feeling. A full cup means that a student is coming in excited about the day, feeling cared for by their family or their friends or their teachers. And a cup that's a little less full maybe means that some of those pieces aren't in place yet that day. Maybe they had a rough morning. Maybe they got in an argument before they got on the bus. And I tell students early on in the year that there will be some days when they are tempted to think it's the worst day that they're ever going to have. And my challenge for them is when you come in and you fill that cup in the morning, or when you come in and you update that cup in the morning, you always need to have one bean in your cup. And we call that one bean the bean of hope. And the idea is that on our worst possible day, there's hope that the day can get better. And so that bean of hope is just a visual reminder for them that the day isn't hopeless. And typically by the end of the day, there are some other beans that have joined that bean of hope in their cup before they go home for the day. A few days ago, just last week, I had a student who's in 8th grade now, and he was coming back to help with an after-school tutoring program for younger students. And he came down the hallway, and I didn't recognize him, but he just hugged me. And I thought, oh, and I figured it out, as, you know, a second later. But just those moments when students who aren't even in the building anymore choose to come back, that's very special. When I see students in the community, I ran into a former student last night when I was out running some errands. It's such a joy. We spent 180 days together, and it wasn't enough. And so it's always exciting to see them one more time, either planned or unplanned, to be able to revisit that joy that we had in that short amount of time together.
I'm just gonna miss, like, we probably won't have as strong as a community in 5th grade as we do now, so.
Like, all of us are gonna be broken up into different classes. We won't stay as everyone together, but I'm probably gonna miss most just being here, like, in the classroom doing the stuff we normally do.
You're just in this big community of people and you all get together and have fun. It's fun.
When I think about the memories that I want students to have it when they leave at the end of the year, I want the memories that are meaningful to them to stay with them at the end of the year. And I'm always surprised by what they are. Sometimes it's something we did in the hallway to pass time that seemed like a trivial moment, or sometimes it's a joke that someone told, or something that wasn't part of the plan for that day, but it happened anyway, and it stuck with them. I think, when I think about what students take away with them, I want them to remember that they were liked. I want them to remember what we were able to accomplish as a community that made this place different than other places. But the memories are up to them. I can't decide those for them. And it's always amazing to see what little things they pick out.
I'm gonna miss having Mr. Wooden, because he's been a really good, he's a really good teacher.
He's really awesome. He's like energetic, and he really like makes things maybe like more fun than they would be if they were like normal, what most people do.
I know him better than practically any of his other students that he's ever had. The one word I can describe him with is passionate.
Being a teacher in Beanville, being a citizen of Beanville, I feel like I'm better at that than about anything else. I feel like this is the person that I want to be. When I leave here, my family can tell you that I get frustrated and discouraged and moody and all of those other emotions that every human being has. But I think there's something about the ideals of Beanville that makes an idealized version of Matt Wooden. And I like that. I step into this place and I'm more hopeful. I step into Beanville and I'm more compassionate. I step into Beanville and I'm more patient. We've talked so much about those characteristics, and my expectations for students are that they're working toward being hopeful people, or they're working toward being empathetic people, or they're working toward being compassionate people. And so to avoid being hypocritical, I think I take on some of those same characteristics more here than I do in other parts of my life. I love this job, and I didn't expect to get as much joy from this job as I have. One of our phrases that we use a lot in Beanville is, I say, "Are you growing?" And they say, "Like a green bean." It's a joyful thing to be in a place where growth is just happening all the time, and it's so easy to see it. Growth academically and socially and emotionally. 4th grade is just a marvelous place to be.
You ready? Let's roll on. It's time to go. G-O-O-D-E-B-E-N-I-N-G. Good evening. Bye-bye. Good evening. Let's go.
We welcome you back to Dennis O. Martin Memorial Field here at Bloomington High School North, as the Cougars and the Roncalli Rebels are tied at 7 as we get ready to start the second half. Glad you could join us for North Cougar football and Smithville sports. A reminder, next week we will be right back here, as it will be the battle of coaching brothers between Columbus North's Tim Blass and Bloomington North's Scott Blass, as the Columbus North and Bloomington North next week. That could be big in Conference Indiana as well. Not to mention the battle of coaching brothers. And Tim has won 11 of the 15 meetings against his brother dating back to 2005, and Bloomington North has not beaten Columbus North since September 5th, 2014. But our game tonight, 7-7, and Quinn, it's been defense. It's been the story.
Yeah, this season has been the trend has been great offensive performances. We've talked about the big offensive performances that Edgewood has put up, that Bloomington North has put up, and sometimes the opponent also has a huge ones. Let us not remember that Mitchell runs on Duncan, but this is the first time this season we have been given a defensive battle between two really good teams, including two front sevens who have really gotten to the quarterback. Bloomington North's with getting pressure, and Roncalli's with actually getting sacks and an interception on that. We talked about a little bit. This halftime could not have come sooner. Could not have come any sooner for Reese Lozano, who looked a little bit rattled by the end of that half with how many times he kept getting hit on this thing. So it's going to be really huge to see how he and also the offense regroups in the second half right now. And the defense, if they can continue to at least put a lot of pressure on the Rebels.
As we're given the stats from the Roncalli radio guys tonight, we're grateful and thankful that they provided us stats tonight.
Yep. For the stats, Aiden Leffler, 7 of 14 passing for 67 yards and a touchdown. Baron Hubler, 12 carries for 65 yards, including a 25-yarder. Kyle Lockard, 3 catches for 27 yards. Chris Parrott, 2 catches for 7 yards. Baron Hubler, 1 catch for 8 yards. And Ryan Henry, 1 catch for 25 yards and a touchdown. For the Cougars, Reese Lozano, 4 of 10 passing in that first half for 49 yards and an interception. He also had a 14-yard run, but all the rushing yards got gobbled up by the sacks, 4 of them. So he had negative 1 rushing yards on 7 carries. Trueblood, 12 carries for 43 yards and the Cougars' lone touchdown. And Miklich had 1 carry for 5 yards. Murphy, 2 catches for 35 yards. Loftman, 1 catch for 11 yards. And Steinfeld, 1 catch for 3 yards. Though there was an excellent one-handed catch that was called incomplete because it seemed impossible that he got a foot in, but he actually did, thanks to our replay crew and our excellent job behind the cameras capturing that. But again, no replay, so unfortunately that will go down as an incomplete pass. But in the end, the Cougars did score a touchdown on that drive, so it's a moot point.
As we quickly look at a couple other things, as Edgewood is at home tonight against Brown County for the Hoof and Talon Trophy. Edgewood leads that series 24-7. Brown County has not beaten Edgewood since October 8, 2010, 45-42 in Nashville. Next week, Edgewood's at Bloomington South for the first meeting of those two schools since 1992. They played from 1982 to 92. South is all-time 9-1 against Edgewood. Edgewood won the 84 season opener 14-12. Edgewood got trounced at Indian Creek last week 52-20. So an Edgewood win tonight, and that will put them in the crossover, the third place game in 2 weeks. And we don't know who will be their opponent. Northview is 3-0, North Putnam's 2-1, South Put's 2-1, a team that already Edgewood played. And West Vigo and Sullivan are 1-2, Greencastle's 0-3. Now, there's a game I want to mention tonight, and I want to get your thoughts on this, as Shelbyville and New Palestine are playing tonight. Now, Shelbyville is 0-6 They've been outscored 365-7. And they have not given up less than 42 points, been shut out 5 weeks in a row, and Delta beat them 85-0 in week 3. New Palestine is the #1 team in Class 5A. They're 6-0. They've outscored their opponents 310-54, and they've scored over 60 points twice and had 1 shutout this season. Now, the reason I mention this game is these two teams tried to find other opponents. Their conference opponents, they're in the same conference, the Hoosier Heritage Conference, and they tried to play. They wanted to. New Palestine said, "Hey, we don't think this is fair," and they couldn't find. They had teams lined up, and then another team backed out. To me, you play who's on your schedule regardless, even if it's going to be a bad game or a lopsided game. Their conference opponent, you guys agreed to play the game. I think you play it no matter what, even if it's not going to be a good scoreline.
It would be different if they weren't conference opponents, and they would have been like, you know what, let's hold off on this game. But if you're conference opponents, that means that you're expected to have similar levels of ability. Now, that's not obviously true in most stands, but it's figured that that is what's supposed to be. So I do agree with you on that.
As we get the second half underway, this is Dominic Brown, number 7. He's going to get a nice return to the 40-yard line, but there is a flag on that play.
Yeah, man, if that's brought back, that's going to be a huge blow.
Flag on the play.
They're going to get a... It's going to come back. It looks like the legal block in the back against the Rebels.
Yeah, and that's going to... Man, that would have been that was like the perfect momentum continuation from how they ended that first half, and basically was setting them up to basically take control of the second half. But then with one yellow piece of cloth, it's already been erased.
Time of possession in the first half was interesting. The Rebels 11:46, the Cougars 12:14. And they're going to put this at the 8-yard line. So an interesting... Rebels deep in their own territory at the 8. Leffler going to operate the offense for Roncalli. It's going to go to Hebler up the middle. Near the first down marker, going to be short. But Hebler picking up where he left off in that first half.
He definitely seems to be gaining steam as the game has gone along.
Trey Candelaria with the stop for Bloomington North.
Second down, 2.
Hebler with a gain of 8. 13 carries for 74 yards so far. It's Hebler again, and he will get past the first down marker out near the 25. So they're going to move the chains. Rebels had 6 first downs in the first half. Bloomington North only had 4.
Hebler has been a real problem for the Bloomington North defense. They've relatively done well in the passing game, but when it comes to the running game, it's been hit or miss.
This is a 1st and 10 at the 24. 7-yard gain for Hebler. Leffler, pressure coming, and it's Lockhart, first down at the 40.
Excellent job, just throwing it just over the linebacker's head, just a nudge left, and Lockhart again, an excellent job of basically getting open in space.
Gain of 17 for Lockhart. His 8th target, 4 catches now for 44 yards.
And he's been the leading receiver all season long. 418 receiving yards coming into today.
They go back on the ground to Hebler. He gets near about the 45.
On the carry again.
They're going to mark it at the 43. Candelaria with the tackle.
The offensive line from the second quarter on looks to have really gained a second wind of strength for Roncalli, as the defensive line for the Cougars hasn't been getting as much of a push.
Leffler going to take it off. He's going to get past midfield. He's trying to reach for the first down marker. He's going to fall short. Nice.
He did a good job being able to avoid the pressure, using the bootleg to his advantage to basically grab some yards.
It'll be a 3rd and 3 now for the Rebels at the 48. Leffler just his second carry of the night for 3 yards, gain of 5 there. Had was sacked for a loss of 8 in the first half. It's going to be a screen pass to Hebler, gets past the man past midfield, and he's going to get the first down. But there's going to be a flag.
Swing pass from Leffler. To Hebler is good.
12 quick plays. You got to watch where your head ends up being. It's got to be on the front.
And a block in the back, it looks like.
It's going to push the Rebels back.
Kelly on the play, though, is coming back. Leave the block in the back.
So the Rebels overcame the first penalty at the start of this drive, but then brought the kickoff back, got out of the deep hole, got it out toward midfield. Now they're having to get here.
Yeah.
First down screen pass on 33.
Almost, it seemed like Roncalli a little sloppy here to start this half. That's a second huge penalty that has negated a really big play for them.
It's going to be a 3rd and 12 at the 39. It's going to be Leffler, going to roll, pressure, going to throw it.
Man, it's Lockard. He ran past the sticks, and he made the catch for the first down.
And Lockard catches it, but they're going to give him a spot just short of the first down marker.
Wow, Lockard basically had caught it past the first yard line and then was pushed back. I guess, and they look like they marked the forward progress right at the sticks.
Bad spot, if that's where it stays.
Officials discussing.
Officials have huddled up. Lockard ran to the 40.
Yeah, they might. I think they might chance it because he had gotten past it.
Now they pick the football up.
They picked it up now.
Sideline warning against Roncalli.
And now
and they already had one in the first half, so they're gonna. It's now a penalty.
And a third time now already in the first 3 minutes that a big play has been negated by a penalty.
They missed a call.
Third down, 17, 34.
Rebels 4 penalties for 61 yards in this game. 3rd and 17 now. It's going to be Hebler. And he's going to get now near the 40-yard line and is going to bring up a 4th down.
Yeah. The draw was worth the shot there, but yeah, you basically just want to get the taste of that drive out of your mouth at this point after so many flags negating big plays.
Kicker's 15.
So Roncalli going to put it away, almost blocked.
23. Uyghur at the 30-yard line.
This is Colin Uyghur, 23, gets a block, gets near the 45-yard line.
By 35.
He's going to be hauled out of bounds by number 35, Darren Hebler.
So Hebler with the tackle. North's going to get the ball 1st and 10 at the 44.
And then it went south.
Man,
The Rebels did use 4 minutes on that
That was, I think, what you would call a roller coaster first drive of the second half. So many ups, so many downs.
Rebels with 9 first downs in the game. The Cougars with just 4. Steinfeld goes in motion. Play clock at 10. Murphy's going to go. It's going to pitch it to Murphy, and a flag flies as Murphy gets knocked out of bounds.
And that's a holding penalty.
Tackled by number 20, David Clayton. Flag on the play.
36 points a game. They had 4 first downs on the first drive of the game. They've not had one since.
So this will push the Cougars back.
Hold backs the Cougars up. Spot foul all the way back to the 34-yard line.
Huge penalty. So many big penalties going on in this game.
Yeah, 10-yard penalty. They're 1st and 20 now at the 34. It's going to be Xavier Trueblood. He's going to get out to the 39.
He's brought down by Dominic Brown.
Gain of 8 for Trueblood.
Out to the 39. Pick up a 5. Second down and 15.
We're going to give him a gain of 5. Trueblood 13 carries for 48 yards.
Second down and 15 at the 39.
And that touchdown in the first half. 2nd and 15.
Third quarter, we're tied at 7. Lozano sends Murphy in motion to the short side. Fakes the handoff.
Play action. Lozano finds Steinfeld over the middle.
And Steinfeld keeps going. That was what was missing from a lot of that first half right there. Steinfeld, just a nice streak. Just kind of a very, not a seam route because there was a little bit of movement, but basically nice little skinny post, I guess we would say. Excellent job in motion, and now the offense is starting to click.
31-yard pass to Steinfeld. Now this is Murphy. Steinfeld now 5 targets, 2 catches, 34 yards. Murphy a 5-yard pass, completion. Second and 5 now for Bloomington North at the 25. Trueblood, and he's taken down for a loss. Skylar Phillips.
The offensive line just got absolutely obliterated at the snap.
That's a guy, Dan, that the Rebel coaching staff is very high on. He's not
Skylar Phillips had that interception in the first half for Roncalli. It's going to be a 3rd and 9. Loss. Loss of 4.
And he's got size at 6'3", 190. 3rd down and 9.
Lozano. Going over the middle. Steinfeld got him. At the 10.
It's so helpful when you have a player like Steinfeld, that a tight end, a big body that you can isolate in one-on-one coverage, but it looks like he's down on the ground right now.
Yeah, Steinfeld down. 20-yard completion to Steinfeld. 4 catches, 59 yards, 7 targets so far for Steinfeld, but this would be huge for Bloomington North. You can't afford to lose your top receiver.
Well, the thing is you have a tight end like Steinfeld who is a forward in basketball. So you got his big body, but he's athletic enough that you could just throw him to the outside.
As we see the replay, it looks like
he fell on his shoulder.
Great job by our camera crew tonight. We've got Noah Barajas and Sam Malloy down on the field. Jeremy Nutter and Nadir Noon up top. Rob Ramsey and Nate Alarcon in the truck. A big thank you to all of the crew for all their hard work throughout the season.
But the thing is that you're able to do that. You create such a mismatch to have such a big body be able to go on the outside and go in one-on-one coverage.
Steinfeld is coming off the field holding his shoulder, so he's going to get looked at. Lozano going to the end zone, going to the corner. Incomplete with Jack Recker with the target. Henry knocked Ryan Henry, who got the touchdown earlier for Roncalli, knocked that one away.
Got to see that beautiful back shoulder throw that time, got broken up by the great defensive coverage.
Recker still waiting for his first reception tonight. He's had 3 targets.
Number 10.
That is Cody Miklas, the freshman. He gets taken down, driven back.
51.
It's Wardzala and Owen Vogue on the stop. So 2 defensive guys for Roncalli that made an impact tonight.
Absolutely.
That's going to bring 3rd down goal.
3rd and goal for Bloomington North.
Watch out for Murphy here.
Murphy in motion, gonna go back. Lozano gonna roll quick to Murphy. He's gonna stretch out for the touchdown.
And what did I say? Whenever the situation gets tough, Lozano's favorite target is Murphy. And he was able to find him right there, especially with Steinfeld out. A little bit of a defensive lapse, if I'm being 100% honest. They should have been able to double team him right there with no Steinfeld out there. Excellent job to get it to Murphy with enough space to just get it into the end zone.
7-yard touchdown pass from Lozano to Balin Murphy. Snap for Kyle Trilling is up and good. And now it is 14-7, Bloomington North with 5:05 to go in the 3rd quarter. Right now, Lozano 8 for 15, 1 interception, 112 yards, and a touchdown.
And as I was mentioning, he needed that halftime break really badly. You could definitely tell because his throws were just like a second off on quite a few of them nearing that end of that first half. There he was a lot more crisp. He had some beautiful one-on-one throws to Steinfeld during the drive, and then just an excellent play call overall, just to basically get Murphy with some space and some blockers in front of him. As I mentioned, the new generation run play that I call it that kind of short screen.
Yeah, Balin.
Excellent job.
5th touchdown reception for Balin Murphy this season. So now it's Roncalli's turn here with 5:05 to go before. At the end of 5:05 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Going to be taken by Hebler at the 5. He's got a lot of room. He's going to go to the 45 and get knocked out of bounds, and they're going to call North for a late hit.
That'll tack on another 15. It's Barron with a nice return out across the 40-yard line, and the penalty will take it into Bloomington North territory.
So a huge penalty, and Roncalli's going to get excellent field position in Bloomington North territory.
There's no reason for that, none whatsoever. As basically that puts them even. That puts them now in your territory.
The ball's going to be spotted at the 41 of Bloomington North. Give Roncalli excellent field position. 5 penalties for 52 yards for Bloomington North, 5 penalties for 78 yards for Roncalli. Leffler gonna throw it, and it is incomplete.
Had him in stride, just lofted a little too high on that pass. There was really good coverage, so still don't even know if he would have been able to complete it if thrown on target. But that's a moot point as it was overthrown.
Intended for Ryan Henry, his 2nd target. His only catch went for the 25-yard touchdown pass from Leffler in the 2nd quarter. 2nd and 10. Gonna go to Hebler. He's going to get past the 40, about the 38-yard line.
Able to work his way down to the 39.
Initial stop by number 6, Matt Grannon.
Matt Grannon with the stop for Bloomington North. 3rd and 8 now at the 39.
And this is the situation. During that first drive, Roncalli was able to convert on these, but then have a flag going against them. Let's see if they're able to do it, if they're able to convert and keep the yellow flags off the field this time.
3rd and 8 at the 39. Bloomington North crowd comes alive. Play clock at 6. Leffler gonna throw the screen pass. It is complete to Hebler. He gets the first down and more, and he's gonna get down near the 23-yard line.
You got to watch out for that swing pass. Hebler, he's done an excellent job all season long of taking that.
Hebler being the leading rusher, but receiving-wise, 2 targets, 2 catches, 24 yards. 16 on that play from Leffler. 1st and 10 at the 23. And Hebler gets the call again and gets inside the 20. Candelaria with the tackle for Bloomington North. Going to be a 2nd and 6, gain of 4. Approaching 3 minutes to go here in quarter number 3. It's going to be Hebler, and he's going to get down to the 15, but he's going to be short of the first down marker.
Going to set up a 3rd and 2.
For the Cougars, number 33, Trey Candelaria will stop.
Hebler, 19 carries, 97 yards. 3rd and 2 now at the 16.
Again, you're going to want to, if you're the defense, you got to key in on that swing pass, especially since there is nobody on that right side. You got to watch for that swing pass.
We're going to set up bottom of the screen, 3 receivers. Play clock down to 3. It's going to be Hebler, and he's just going to get toward the first down marker. I think he'll be short.
Yeah, they're going to, yep.
Garrett
It's going
Bruce
to be
on the
short,
stop.
and I think you go for it here.
Yeah, they're not going to bring the kicker on the field at this point. They're going to leave they're going to trust the offense. 4th and 1 at the 15.
Same formation as last time. Again, swing pass to the right to Hebler.
Play clock at 2, and they're not going to get this off. It's going to be a delayed game on Roncalli. But they're going to give the timeout anyway. Boy, that was a gutsy call play. Gutsy. That play clock was right at 0 when they got the timeout.
14-7 to score, a big 4th and short.
So it's a 4th and 1 with a minute 36 to go here in quarter number 3. Well, we mentioned Bloomington North home next week against Columbus North. We senior night, that will be our next game, and then October the 18th at Southport. Roncalli goes on the road to Columbus Northland in Ohio, first out-of-state opponent for them since October 12, 2007. October 18th, they will host Garrett Catholic. And with them playing Columbus Northland next week, Quinn, I actually have a trivia question for you. There are 2 former Big Ten basketball players who were teammates at Northland that, are notable alums. I'll give you a hint. One stayed at home and played for Ohio State. The other played at Michigan.
The yard for the Rebels, just inside the Bloomington North 15. Let's send down to Steve. Steve, what's your play call here?
Can you give me an era?
They both graduated. They were about 2010.
Oh. Gosh.
Both made it into the NBA. I'll give you a little thought. I'll give you some time to ponder on that.
On the keeper.
That is Leffler on the keeper, and they get the first down.
They needed about 2 feet. They got a little more than that.
Huge conversion, just power football right there. Just able to get that, continue the drive.
Continue the drive. First and 10.
It's enough for a Rebel first down.
First down, Rebels.
So the Rebels get the first down marker. 12 first downs for the Rebels, just 6 for the Cougars. It is Hebler, and he gets wrapped down about the 11-yard line. We're inside a minute to go here in the third quarter.
Charlie Bless with the tackle.
Yeah, the defense really, and as you saw at the end of that play, they've gotten chippy with each other. They got to make sure that both teams keep their emotions in check.
Coming down to the end of the third quarter, 2nd and 8 at the 10. Leffler gonna get it to Lockard on the swing pass, and he gets inside the 10. It's gonna stay in bounds as the clock is rolling.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be the end of that.
Charlie Bless and Ben Heiting on the tackle.
And that is going to end the third quarter. Stay tuned. Fourth quarter coming up next. North leads 14-7 on Smithville Sports.
Smithville Media has produced stunning and engaging features and documentaries for over a decade. Local interest stories, interviews, commercials and event coverage are all part of what we do. Let us showcase your business or create a commercial for your promotions. We can even play your pieces during our live sports broadcasts. For details, speak with a Smithville representative or email media@smithville.com.
As we welcome you back to Bloomington North High School, as the Cougars are up 14-7 on Roncalli. Glad you could join us for North Cougar football on Smithville Sports. As I am Nick Jacobson alongside Quinn Saturday, mentioned that Roncalli will travel to Columbus, Northland, Ohio, and I gave Quinn the trivia question that they have 2 former Big Ten basketball players that were alums. Quinn, can you name them?
Jared Sullinger and Trey Burke.
Yes, you are correct, sir.
Sorry, it took me a second because I was trying to remember 2014 because a lot of the mid-2000s are a little blurry because I was in college during that time, so.
Yes, Jared Sullinger played for Ohio State. His dad, Sat Sullinger, actually coached them, and they won the state title in 2009 at Columbus, Northland. That is a completed pass. It's going to be right down at the goal line, and it is to Ryan Henry.
Leffler, pass complete. Number 12, Ryan Henry. He's brought down by Sam Brzezinski. That's going to leave him just short.
Going to be short.
First down?
So, first and goal at the 1. Leffler going to give it to Hebler. He gets stuffed and going to get taken down for a loss.
Everyone's packing the box for this one. If I'm Roncalli, I want to try to get this to the outside because I don't think you're going to get through the middle right now.
Hebler 22 carries now for 100 yards. Leffler's going to keep it. He's going to just plow toward the goal line. Going to get a push. No signal yet. And they're going to say he did not get in. And they're going to...
Wow, that's they actually call the play at the half-yard line for the push. Offensive lineman pushed him into the end zone, but the refs called it right there. So now 3rd and goal.
Yeah, 3rd and goal for Roncalli. Leffler, is he going to get it this time?
Where's the call?
Yes.
Touchdown. He's in. Touchdown.
Leffler's keeper is good, and then Roncalli scores.
First rushing touchdown of the season. 1 yard out.
First rushing touchdown of the season for Leffler.
Scored twice, scored once.
And yeah, that's quite a way to get that first one as well.
Roncalli an extra point away from tying this thing up. Leffler's 5th carry of the night.
Tied the game up. Aiden Gord's the holder. Good snap.
And it is short. But they're going to return it. Now they're going to say that's a dead ball. So
that is absolutely huge. You can never assume the extra point.
Sam Brzezinski is going to be 14-13 now. Bloomington North on top with 10:26 to go.
10:26. Let's try and send it down to Steve. Steve, what sort of push did you see from the Rebels on that offensive line?
That was an amazing job. Able to come in there. Special team games are won and lost in special teams, and just one missed block or one extra effort causes a blocked extra point, and right now Bloomington North still has the lead.
And the Rebels trail by 1.
So the 10:26 to go next week. Bloomington North, Columbus North here at Martin Memorial Field. Columbus North tonight playing Bloomington South in Columbus. Huge matchup there. There is the return. Flag flies. That was Cody Miklish.
By 22. Cody Miklish.
Brought down by
Block in the back.
They're going to give, it's going to be a block in the back on Bloomington North.
I don't think there's been a single return in this half that hasn't had a flag.
Rebels trail 14-13.
Been several penalties tonight. The 11th penalty in this game. Six for Bloomington North, 5 for Roncalli. It's going to be at the 12.
First down, 10.
First and 10, 10:19 to go here in the fourth quarter. This is going to be a draw. It's going to be Miklish.
42.
He's finally starting to get some run here in the second half.
Sean Sinovic on the tackle for 42.
3 carries for 8 yards for Miklish tonight. This will be the 4th carry for Miklish. He's going to get to the 20-yard line.
This freshman shows a lot of promise, as we mentioned, coming into this game, averaging nearly 10 yards a carry and having 4 touchdowns coming in. Gets it down to a 3rd and short.
3rd and 1 at the 21. Lozano's going to just have to take off, and there's a flag. Lozano looking to hand it off, and he couldn't go anywhere, and he just had to keep it himself.
Miscommunication.
not sure that you take it.
And this is going to be interesting, whether or not you take the down loss at 4th and 1, or do you push it back?
Holding
It's
on
gonna be
Bloomington
holding.
North, and they are going to take it. So they're going to
And
push
I
him
think
back.
that's ultimately the smarter decision, because you always have to be careful, especially when the ball's that close to a first down, of any kind of trickery.
So a 3rd and 11. 7th penalty for Bloomington North. 3rd and 11. Lozano shotgun. Gonna drop back, pressure coming. He's got to take off. Got to get it blocked. He's going to tackle him. He's going to go for another loss. And another flag flies late.
And that's never a good sign if you're Roncalli for a late flag like that.
So it's going to be a officials discussing. They pick the flag up.
Yeah, late hit.
Foul on Roncalli. So it's going to be an automatic first down.
And that bails out Bloomington North.
And when the call was made, I see Ryan Papandrea at number 3 jumping around. So he knew he wasn't very happy about that one.
As I was saying, these teams really have grown to not like each other over the course of this game, to say it lightly.
Leads for Lozano, 1st and 10 at the 27. Only played one time, that was last year. Roncalli prevailed in that matchup. It's going to be Mikulich with the carry. 5 carries for 20 yards for Mikulich. 2nd and 6. It's going to be Lozano. Going to fire it. Got a man open, but it's intercepted. Dominic Brown, and then there's a flag on North.
He underthrew it.
Dominic Brown, 2nd interception of the night for Lozano.
Dom Brown has his 3rd interception of the year. Number 47, Dylan Barrow was the intended.
And that's just compounding mistake after mistake, immediately grabbing the face mask, as you see right here on the instant replay. He just undercut it, was able to undercut the route, and then grabbed him, and the only place that he could grab him, the face mask, which just turned a bad situation into an even worse situation.
So it's going to be at the 39-yard line of Bloomington North for the Rebels. Down by 1, 14-13, 8:13 to go. Defensive battle. It's going to be Leffler. He's just going to go right up the middle, and the quarterback keeper gets a 35.
Nice 5-yard gain by Leffler.
Not seen that play much in recent weeks.
Number 6 on stop, Matt Grannon.
Matt Grannon with the tackle. Gain of 4 for Leffler. His 6th carry of the night.
Watch out for Ryan Henry, one-on-one coverage at the bottom of the screen.
He's been targeted twice. He's caught it twice. It's going to go to Hebler. And he gets past the 35 down to about the 33.
Pick up of a couple, 33 and 6. Setting up 3rd down and short.
Matt Grannon with the tackle. Candelaria also on the stop. Going to bring up a 3rd down for Roncalli, 3rd and 4. Hebler, 23 carries, 102 yards.
Roncalli has been doing this a lot in the second half. They've been draining this clock down, trying to shorten this game.
Play clock is down to 3, down to 2. They get it away. Keebler gets stopped.
Huge defensive 3 and out.
He's brought down by Garrett Bruce.
Garrett Bruce with the tackle, 4th and 4 now. They're going to keep the Roncalli offense on the field.
Yeah, you still got 2 timeouts left. I like the idea of going for it right here.
Play clock is at 13.
So one thing you don't want is to end up burning a timeout if you don't get this play off.
At 6, they get it away. Screen pass. Papandreou with the reception, and he gets the first down. So Ryan Papandreou gives Roncalli a fresh set of downs.
Papandreou, a little bit of a high risk, high reward, as he was able to catch that and go on catch that behind the line of scrimmage, and then basically say, go get the first down for us. And he did.
First catch for 9 yards, his second target of the night. Leffler going to give it to Hebler. Hebler just going to push his way toward the 20-yard line. Charlie Bless on the stop for Bloomington North.
Second down, 7 from the Cougar 20.
Gain of 3. Hebler at 105 yards on 25
And there's a point where you got to decide, if you're Bloomington North, are we committed to stopping them as in make sure they don't score at all, or do we want to make sure that there's reasonable amount of time left so that we can respond? Because the clock's starting to run down quite a bit.
Play clock at 6. It's Hebler, or Leffler, and he's inside the 10, down the 8, gets the first down.
Right down the middle. Inside the 10-yard line, setting up number 2 goal. Boy, that was the end Leffler we saw last year.
And
Rebel first down.
First down.
12-yard carry for Leffler. He's now up to 7 carries for 18 yards. First and goal. Leffler going to keep it again. There's a fumble.
Wow.
And Bloomington North recovered. How about that?
That is absolutely huge. They were seeming to get Bloomington North out of rhythm with those quarterback draws, but right there, defender was able to get in there and just poke the ball out.
So Bloomington North recovers the fumble, first fumble of the night. Either way.
And Roncalli does have 2 timeouts left right now, so we're going to start looking at time management, especially with it being a 1-point game.
14-13 the score. Yep.
As Bloomington North does have all 3.
All spotted at the 6.
It's going to be Lozano. He's just going to take it right up the middle.
And he got stuffed immediately.
Right at the line of scrimmage, maybe one forward progress.
David Clayton on the stop.
Clayton on the stop for Roncalli. 2nd and 8.
Second down, 8.
Approaching 4 minutes to go here in the game.
4:15 to go. Rebels trail by 1.
Lozano, long pass.
Out of the hands, incomplete.
And that is incomplete.
Had Recker, but Recker was unable to get it right now. Then this is where you miss Seinfeld right now in this kind of situation. A person that you could just throw a jump ball to.
Aaron Steinfeld was taken out of this game earlier. Went out with a shoulder injury. 3rd and 8.
3rd down and 8.
Murphy.
Goes in motion.
Motion.
Lozano
It's going to go to Recker, and he just in and out of the hands.
Yeah, bang bang play, just could not keep both hands on it, and the play call was good, just need to hold on to that.
So they're going to have to punt it away.
Second time tonight, he's gotten a couple good ones away.
So Kyle Trilling going to kick it away. He gets it away. It's going to go to the 35. Now there's a late flag as Brown got hit. But he did not catch he did not call for the fair catch.
Helmet to helmet?
It looks like he's going to be called against a defenseless receiver, and unfortunately, usually that wouldn't be called, but the way they've been calling it tonight, to be consistent, they have to call that.
Scott Bless they're going to call a personal foul on Bloomington North.
Yeah, it's extremely unfortunate as we get to see it right here. Oh, he didn't, barely touched him.
Really ran into him.
Yeah, barely touched him. But I guess the whole thing was that he was down. Like I said, they've been calling basically any kind of contact in tag games, so they're at least being, as much as it stinks, at least they're being consistent in their call of that.
9 penalties tonight for Bloomington North for 106 yards. First and 10 at the 21. Ball is loose, and Leffler just has to pounce on it.
So I see somebody invited pandemonium to this game.
Recovered by Roncalli.
That's what happens when you get down with a 1-point lead and down to about the final 3.5 minutes of the game. Three receivers down bottom of the screen for the Rebels. Leffler gonna find it. Is it caught? They're gonna say it's caught. That is Papandrea. That is a first down, move the chains.
Yeah, Papandrea with a defender all over him, able to make the sliding catch just for the first down.
First and 10, 11.
They're going to get it to the 11, first and 10. Clock is still running, approaching 3 minutes to go.
They just drain this thing.
Papandrea, 2 catches, 25 yards, 3 targets.
Yeah, and you got to worry about Roncalli just forcing Bloomington North to have to take these timeouts.
Going to the end zone. Incomplete, intended for Papandrea.
I would have liked to, just like we had with that Steinfeld catch, I'd like to see another replay because we've seen these receivers.
That was Lockhart.
We've seen these receivers make some crazy catches with the foot in bounds, but the refs have called it as incomplete. Let's go ahead and see.
Second down, 10.
He can't get a foot in bound. Oh my gosh.
But it didn't look like he made.
Yeah, he didn't have possession. He did get. I don't think he might have had possession. That would have been. That wasn't as clear cut as the other one. To be fair.
Great job by our camera crew again to do everything to get all the great replays and sights and sounds of this game. It's going to be Leffler. He's going to keep it up the middle, and he's going to lead and score. Roncalli leads.
Touchdown, Aiden Leffler, his second of the quarter.
Aiden Leffler scores from 11 yards out.
47 to go.
That QB sneak, like I said, in this past quarter, they've had something with this where just for some reason the defense just hasn't been able to react fast enough to it.
So it is now 19-14. Roncalli's going to go for 2 because they missed the extra point earlier. Here we go. To the end zone, incomplete.
Excellent breakup by Wazinski. Just able just to swat that away. That's textbook coverage right there, and this is huge right now because now you just need a touchdown. You don't need to worry about any extra points or anything like that. You just need a touchdown now to take the lead.
So 19-14, Roncalli leads. Again, next week, Columbus North here at Bloomington North. We'll have that game, 7 o'clock kick.
Okay, I got you.
We were delayed 10 minutes by the start of this game because of Roncalli trying to get here from Indianapolis.
We got you now. We got you loud and clear. What did you see on that run by left or up the middle?
35 and 10 are deep.
And it's down to 2:37 to go.
We had Steve for a moment. Lost him. We'll try and get that microphone issue sorted out here. Herman's on to kick it off.
So Owen Herndon's going to kick it off for the Rebels.
Rebels lead by 5, 2:37 to go. There's a lot of time left.
Rebels on the ground, 35 carries, 131 yards tonight.
Short hop kick. Takes a hop. It's loose on
They got to get onto that, and they finally do at the 16.
Yeah, expected it to bounce out of bounds, but then bounced in and basically had to settle for just making sure you had possession.
So 2:37 to go. First trip for Roncalli to Bloomington since 1989.
Been well worth the wait for the return to Bloomington. As I mentioned, 3 timeouts left for Bloomington North. 2 for Roncalli.
Lozano gonna give it to Trueblood. He's got to just try to get some blockers, and he gets taken down to 15.
Looks like the initial hole was blocked up, and Trueblood had to improvise on the play and wasn't able to really go anywhere.
15 carries for 44 yards for Trueblood. Lozano going to drop back. Got time, and he's going to get taken down again.
Jack Wardzala again with some help from Sean.
And a huge sack. Set that back up, and yeah, they're going to have to call a timeout there. That's wasting too much time.
Jack Wardzala and Sean Sedovic with the sack. That's what, fifth sack tonight for Lozano? 2 minutes to go. Bloomington North calls a timeout, each team with 2 timeouts remaining.
How many breaks we got left, David?
There are only 2 ways you can go about that. Either get up to the line of scrimmage immediately and try to push forward and save your 3 timeouts, or commit to this drive, and they've committed to this drive.
Roncalli came into this game 1-5. Their only win comes against Indianapolis Cecina. Bloomington North 5-1. Only loss was in overtime to Terre Haute South. Third and 16. Lozano.
Third down and 16 for Bloomington North.
Gonna fire it up to Rucker, and it's his first reception.
Huge redemption catch for Jack Rucker, who dropped 2 really huge ones on the last drive to get that one and move the chains. That was a clutch grab by the junior.
Pick up a 18 for Rucker. First down. Gonna give it to Trueblood. He's gonna get past the 30.
51. Trying to catch the Rebels off guard. Nothing doing there.
Trying to catch them off guard with a quick snap. Did not really do anything for them. Maybe got a yard or 2.
Second and 8.
Rebels lead 19-14.
Lozano, he's got a screen ball. Now he's just gonna get out of bounds.
Smart move to just get out of bounds. Gain a yard or 2.
Forced out to stop the clock.
As I said, as soon as you burn that first time out, you're committed to this drive, so he knows he's operating with 4 downs.
So give him 1.
We're gonna give him 1. 3rd and 6. 1:29 to go here.
1:29 left. Rebels lead by 5. Lozano empties the backfield out.
Lozano, he's got to try to get out of bounds, but he doesn't. The clock's going to run. Bloomington North will call the timeout now.
Play call here on 4th down, and it looks to be 2.
Before Owen Baldwin stop.
We'll go ahead and take a break as well with the timeout call. 1:22 to go. Rebels train or lead 19-14. Back after this. 128.
Smart job right now. We'll need to get this first down and take advantage of basically the clock stopping with every single first down. Basically, you have to take advantage of that. I expect something similar to that, maybe like a bubble screen, maybe, or a run to the outside here for Bloomington North.
So 4th and 2 with 1:28 to go.
4th down and 2. Rebels lead 19-14.
Watch out for Murphy.
2 receivers either side.
This will be the biggest play of the game.
Murphy in motion, right to left.
Murphy in motion. Lozano gonna roll.
Side. Rebels flush him, and
It's intercepted again.
He jumped around his second pick of the night.
And Tyler Phillips is now a flag. But Tyler Phillips' second interception and Reese Lozano third interception thrown tonight.
Yes, the junior Skylar Phillips. The penalty on the Rebels.
They're going to call it on Roncalli.
More than a few Rebels came off the sideline to celebrate that interception, but Skylar Phillips with the pick.
And that's going to probably be game right there. That was an absolute, that was risky, but well worth it to jump that route, because if he didn't get that, that was wide open space.
So this is going to be Roncalli as we see the replay here. Lozano and just Skylar Phillips jumped the route.
Penalty takes it back to the Rebel 40, but they're not caring about that right now.
So Roncalli will head back to Indianapolis with their second win of the season and get ready for a long trip across I-70 next week to Columbus, Ohio to face Norfolk.
You have to give a lot of huge props. It's been a rough season for Roncalli to be able to come in here.
There's a flag as Hebert gets the carry.
And basically have to put up with a really good Bloomington North team, and with that flag being on the play, minus anything like miraculous or something along those lines, they will come away with the victory and their second win of the season.
They're in the Circle City Conference is Roncalli with Bishop Chittard, Breaux, Jesuit, and Guerin Catholic. They won the conference the first 2 years, 2016 and 17. Chittard won last year. Their Class 4A Sectional 22 with Lebanon, Addicts, Western, Beech Grove, Indianapolis, Short Ridge, and Frankfort. Now there's going to be a...
our breaks for this second half, so let's go ahead.
There's going to be a timeout called, although the scoreboard says the Cougars don't have any, but they did have one left.
Station identification reminding you, you're listening to Roncalli football on the Ascension St. Vincent.
So they will allow this timeout with 1:12 left to go. But as you mentioned, Gwen, what a season, a hard season for Roncalli, and they come down here tonight and going to pull out this win.
Yeah, and if you're North, you just got to take this and learn from this. Luckily, this doesn't hurt you in terms of your ultimate goal, which is winning your conference. At least that's what you got to take away from this. Hope that Steinfeld is okay moving forward, and basically, like I said, learn from this, become a little bit more organized, a little bit more disciplined when it comes to the penalties, because there were a lot of penalties on both sides.
Now it's just going to be victory formation, and this is going to be it as Leffler takes the knee. Maybe going to have to run one more play.
That'll bring up third down.
Sets up third down. Game clock is inside a minute.
But what a victory for Roncalli.
Snap it one more time. And that'll be it.
As
Yeah.
The Rebels have
they're going to just
taken the trip
take a knee again. Thank you to our crew for everything they do. Noah Barajas, Sam Malloy,
to Bloomington.
Nadir Noon, Jeremy Nutter, Nate Alarcon, Rob Ramsey, and Nat Bruner for everything they have done throughout the season. Roncalli is celebrating. They're going to win this game 19-14. As we look at the highlights, and it is big plays for Roncalli. Lozano throws it down to Aaron Steinfeld.
Down the stretch.
But he went out later in this game with a shoulder injury.
By the score of
As Lozano gets it to Balin Murphy for the touchdown. But then it was Aiden Leffler getting the push. 2 touchdowns on the night for Leffler, including the game winner.
Well, that was the fumble first.
The fumble that, and then this is the touchdown for Leffler.
I don't think that guy likes some of the calls.
Then Skylar Phillips, 2 interceptions on the night as Roncalli beats Bloomington North 19-14. We thank you for watching. For all the hardworking women and men behind the scenes, from my partner Quinn Saturday, I am Nick Jenkinson. Thank you for watching, and good night from Bloomington.